Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Mysterious Pals. My name is Chris, and I'm here with my best buddy, your best buddy, his dad's best buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jordan.
I like to think so.
Welcome aboard.
Hey, thanks, Chris.
We're here for another great episode of this show, and we thank everybody who's been with us, has heard us before, or maybe we thank you for those who are new. Come along with us on this journey.
Weird, mysterious journey.
And Jordan's going to be the one taking on that weird journey.
Yeah.
Like many times in my college and high school, college career, a lot of the weird, strange journeys led by Jordan, and he's here today to do the same.
Yeah.
For all you. What else you got going on this week?
Lucky.
I'm so lucky. You're lucky. We're all lucky.
We're all lucky.
What'd you do this week? Anything good?
Bought a car.
Oh my God.
Very adult thing.
Get that YouTube money rolling in.
Not yet.
Yeah, that's always the worst thing ever.
I think
it's great.
The payments are gonna suck. But
yeah, I mean, like it's always the worst thing, like the anxiety of buying a car.
Oh yeah,
especially nowadays with the way things are work.
Yeah, but to get rid of that car I had, man.
Yeah.
Oh my God, feels so good.
For those who are listening at home, when I first met Jordan, he had a car. He had to crawl in the trunk, right?
Yeah, because the door handles were broken on the driver's side and passenger side of the car. There's only two door.
Yeah, it was like an SUV type of thing.
So sometimes you get lucky getting it open, but like a lot of times I'd like
he had to crawl in through, going on dates and stuff. What do girls do whenever you pick them up and stuff?
I took a girl to prom with that car.
Really? Did you have to crawl in through the back?
I think I might have gone through the back to open it up
kicked out the window or something.
And she's like, "Can we just please go?"
Like, this is so embarrassing.
I'm getting there.
These people around here.
I'm grateful. No.
That wasn't the car that you got rid of, thankfully.
No.
I mean, that was an older one.
Pretty close to that.
I remember that one time at our old place at college, our old house in college, you parked along the side of our house.
Yeah.
Along the alley.
Yeah.
And you just would slam into the side of the house constantly, like rip off this, like just smack, like you would just not even pay attention and just like.
Yeah, parking was not great there.
And you would always just swipe the same side.
Yeah, there's also that like big like metal like
pole because it stopped people from driving into our basement. The steps leading into our basement.
Back into that.
Remember that our door in our basement, our house in college, it never like worked. It always fell in. Like when it snowed, the snow would push it in, and we come down the basement. There's always like snow piled up down there.
That basement, dude. Oh my God.
That was a great basement.
Someone lived down there. It was like before we moved in. Someone was living down there. Yeah,
we found the secret room behind. Like you had to go between the furnace and in a wall they put up.
Yeah.
To make it a bedroom, and we crawl, and then you go down there, and there's another hallway, and then there was another room underneath the back porch.
One dangling light.
And we jammed a bunch of mattresses back there. There are all these old mattresses that were left there.
Yeah, it's like so there's old furniture down there that for some reason like the
owners just left.
They left. So we're just like, we got to move it back here, but it was creepy.
Oh, it was awesome.
It was like
whenever we got like the cops would come, we'd hide people back there. I remember we would like send people back. They're like, cops are here, everybody get in the back.
Yeah.
And like all the underage people, all the people at the party would go back there because they didn't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
Not to say we were supplying anything.
No.
I'm just saying in general, people would get scared and they run back there, and we just
would wait it out.
But we wouldn't even. They weren't even there. We would just say that to mess with them, and then like 20 minutes later, like, can we come out? Like, oh no, get back in there.
Get back.
And then we had that house was amazing.
Yeah.
Because it got sold right in the middle of us owning it or renting it. Remember the owners sold it.
I don't remember that.
That's why we kicked down the basement wall, because the new owners didn't know anything about the house and didn't know that that there wasn't there was 2 rooms in the basement. We kicked down one of the walls.
Yes.
That was wood.
There's a video of that
2 bedrooms.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
Someone has that.
And then we made a bigger room.
Yeah.
To have fun in.
Yeah. Beer pong.
Yeah. I mean, pong.
Pong, yes.
Ping pong.
We played with Kool-Aid.
Yeah. And remember one time we dropped that big jug of Kool-Aid down the steps that bounced down the steps. Maybe you weren't living there at that time.
I don't know if I was.
There was that one step that didn't work, that wasn't like connected.
Yeah.
That's because of that. We dropped a big metal barrel of liquid down it.
Yeah.
It was very foamy the rest of the night.
Very foamy soda pop.
Yeah. It was like Dr. P. Dr. Pepper. Man, college was amazing.
Yeah, it was great.
Remember the steps going up to the upstairs? Like, my bedroom was up there, and like, the runner, the carpet wasn't tacked in, so halfway up you would just fall all the way back down, and we never fixed it. We just knew that we had to step on the sides, but people didn't know that would come over would fall down it every single time when they were coming down from the bathroom.
Yep.
Man, that house was amazing.
Remember we did that party where we're moving out, put flyers up all over the campus?
Yeah, big party at our house.
Made a turkey for some reason.
The last supper on
The Last Supper.
yeah, the last supper. That was a great party. So we moved the couches outside into the porch, and then it rained.
Yeah,
we filled the living room with sand for a beach party, and it rained. Everything was it snowed that weekend for some reason or something. Oh man,
college was great.
I love that house.
Speaking of great,
wow,
you like that?
What a little spinorama there.
Well, let me ask you this question first, because my dad and I,
great man,
over the years,
great man.
Over the years, we'd have these conversations. We'd go out to like a bar and like have a couple beers and just start talking about stuff, life,
The weird stuff.
Yeah, we both have a common interest in history. Occasionally, we get to talking about like historical figures, events in history, and we occasionally have these conversations. We're like, hey, if you could meet one person, or like you like top 3 people you can meet in history, who would it be? And mine was always like kind of changing because depending on what I was like got into that time in my life, history wise, it's kind of constantly changing. But is there someone or a top 3 for you, perhaps, that you would be on that list?
Does it have to be a historical figure?
Not necessarily, no.
Because
someone in history,
someone who impacted history,
sure,
or just anybody.
Or, how about anybody? And not so you have to go back and be like, hey, don't do this because you're gonna die or this will happen. But like just to like pick their brain, ask some questions.
Could you like in any way affect what happens to them?
No.
So I couldn't go be like, hey, Hitler, and be like, dude, what the hell, man?
What are you doing, man?
What are you doing? I know there's a good answer that I have in my brain that you kind of threw one at me here. What about you? You go first. Let me hear what you got.
For a long time, because of where I was mainly focused in regards to history, was Alexander the Great.
Okay, he's a good one. He's a great one.
Yeah. Just because he was great, but he accomplished all these things by the time he was 32. And the time I was like when I got really into the antiquity, I was like probably my early to mid 20s, and I was like, man, what am I going to do by the time I'm 32? Probably not any of this stuff.
Sit on the couch.
Yeah.
Beat an Xbox game or two. Be friends with me.
Go for those achievements in Xbox.
Yeah.
But I was like, that's really impressive. This guy did this by the time he's 32 years old. He's like, what he accomplished.
There's nothing else going on back then.
Yeah, but like not many people did what he did. Hence the Great.
Yeah, I wish I could be. Did he give himself the name the Great, or people after the fact?
So a lot of times in history, when people are given like the name the Great in their title, like Catherine the Great, or like I know a bunch of these. Most of the times they're given after.
Okay.
But this was given to him while he was alive, which is kind of a rare thing.
Oh,
is what he did. A lot of it was because he kind of pushed that himself.
He's like,
hey guys, I'm great.
Yeah. Right. No. Do you want to die?
You want to die? Yeah. You're dead.
Oh, I'm not great. Boom. Yeah. Like.
Yeah. Which happened.
Okay. So I think if I had to pick someone,
my dad's, by the way, a lot of times was Spartacus.
Who's that?
Is
that a TV show?
Well, they did a show about him. Yeah.
Okay.
But he was like a famous gladiator / slave in the during the Roman Empire. He did like an uprising with other like fellow like slaves and gladiators, and he beat Rome like 11, 12 times before he finally was defeated.
Could it be like, see, like I mentioned, like Hitler, like go back and see what the hell is going on in that guy's brain. But we obviously know it was just evil. Could I pick someone like, I can't change anything, so it's not like I have to make like the cool choice of like the YouTube. I'm not gonna get canceled choice. I gotta say this guy. Hitler, obviously.
I can see someone like you, like Alan Turing.
I mean, he'd be cool. We could be boring as hell though. Like, all right, man.
But he
to figure out what he was doing, what his brain was working.
Yeah.
He was just one of those. We know, like,
that was pretty cool.
Yeah. No, I'd be him or like Stalin or someone.
Yeah,
he'd probably murder me, but
during the Gulag,
like one of those guys would be cool. Like during that time, I think one of the guys that was in charge of. I think one of the most interesting things for me in history is Russian spies, like that whole era, like going to find out what was going on with those guys, like the person in charge of that.
Yeah. KGB stuff.
could you say Jesus and be like, really? What was going on? Like, could I figure out, like,
Yeah. That would be interesting to, like,
just for me to understand, like, what actually was happening at that point in time.
Like, Jesus be like, are they really these kind of people that everyone says they are? Just like, what, you know, or even what do they actually look like?
Yeah.
That's a point of contention, you know, like, what's going on in your head? Like, like, are these things really happening?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that was happening back in that day that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people running around during that time, apparently, that was
and things get exaggerated. Not just I'm saying in regards to religion, but in general, as well.
History in general.
We'll go over, like,
was Alexander the Great really great?
Yeah, we'll go over that. Like, a lot of times people are writing about these people hundreds of years later, and they kind of have their own bias. I don't know.
I mean, I think another cool one would be like anybody, like Steve Jobs.
Sure.
Apparently, he was just a big jerk, though.
Yeah.
But you have to be famous,
right?
Or be super successful. Both. To be successful, it seems like in that kind of realm.
That's what we got to do.
You got to be seriously
channel to skyrocket. We'll be jerks.
I mean, that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Seems like a lot of work. Unless I'm adorable, I don't know if someone's gonna believe that. I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe the guy who invented YouTube is gonna be like, dude, can you just help us out?
Just cut us a check or push this.
One of the guys was from around here.
Really?
Yeah. He was like a local, not like local, but he was from a school around here. One of the persons that's got this together, got YouTube together. I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm just talking to anybody who like developed something or like some technological advancement and like be like, did you think? Like, what did you think making this? Like, did you think it would explode? Like, you could like be like, hey, this is how this thing.
Oh, like Oppenheimer or someone?
Yeah,
like,
back
talking to that.
Yeah. Like, this is how this turned out. Like, this is what happened in the world, how it's changed society or like culture and stuff like that.
Would you go back and talk to that person during the time they're on live, or would they come here like to your time and talk to them? Because that would change a lot.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That would change the conversation.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Like if I'm going back and talking to them, like, dude, you have no idea what's going to happen.
We were drinking when we had these conversations, so we never really went too far into that side of it. But that would definitely change things, especially if you went back there and be like, hey, I'm from the future. Look, you know, look at this thing I have, this phone I have.
Yeah, we talked about what would you take back to be a god?
I think that's how I kind of like started thinking about this stuff because we've had that conversation before in a prior episode.
Yeah, like if you brought that person forward and been like, look at this crazy stuff went on.
Like
Alexander the Great, if you brought him forward and ween like, dude, we can't figure out what you buried.
Yeah.
He's like, what? Like there's not monuments of me?
How did you die? Yeah.
Yeah, like that type of stuff.
Yeah. Or if it, like it maybe kind of like what is it, Bill and Ted, where they bring all these people from history into the future.
Yeah.
And they're just
singing songs like a bunch of weirdos. Let's not take our
someone's jazzercising and videos at the mall.
Edgar Allan Poe's a real weirdo.
Was he in that?
Oh. I remember. Maybe I'm thinking of Hocus Pocus. Not Edgar Allan Poe at all. I don't know. I hate history.
It's a good thing we're doing a podcast about
it. Yeah, I think my answer would be someone like, I don't know, someone, if I could go back to Jesus' time and figure out what's going on, or like I said, someone in like the Russian higher ranking, like during the Cold War type of thing, see what actually was going on. That's because I'm interested in that type of stuff and like the thought patterns of those people. Or, you know.
Maybe just seeing like a pivotal event in history take place. Just like as you're like an outsider watching that, I think it'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. Like
some great battle or like, you know, JFK's assassination. Not that I want to see, you know, people die. I'm just saying like to see what actually happened.
A battle back in that time, like let's say Alexander the Great era battling.
Yeah.
Be horrible. I mean, just people running into each other with swords. Like we think and see in the movies, like in our brains now, it's these like great, amazing fights where these guys are like, it's really just people just being like, boom, like dead, boom, dead, boom, like people just falling.
Yeah, especially the speed they're going because a lot of them like this time they're like big on cavalry, so like horseback. You're just like
could you
going full speed, and like
you would just be so like seeing like just like the first 3.5 minutes of the fight is amazingly high energy. Then everybody just gets tired, and everybody's just like, "Oh crap, God!" Like you have to win within the first minute, or you're just too tired.
I'd probably just pretend I'm dead. Like, oh man.
Yeah, but then he's come over and stab you at the end. Remember, they go around in the battlefield and stab people.
True,
They're like, no,
I'm alive.
Yeah, like, you'd have to like pile a bunch of bodies on you and hope that they don't stab right through all of them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't know if they did that. I don't know if that's real, but
there was that episode of Game of Thrones. I forget which one it was. It was one of the big battle scenes where like Jon Snow, it's like he gets like toppled over by a bunch of people. The big battle. Did you ever finish that?
Yeah, yeah.
I think it might have been Battle of the Bastards. But yeah, he gets piled upon and like he's like starting to suffocate because the bodies just keep falling on him.
Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah, yeah.
Like, that was like,
it's one of the bad seasons, or is that one of the good seasons?
It was one of the good seasons.
Okay.
But that was just like, can you imagine that? I'm sure stuff like that happened too.
Oh yeah,
like,
I'm sure that's exactly what happened most of the time.
Horrible.
How people just falling on you, like whenever they go up the side of the mount, like the castles and stuff, the ramparts.
Yeah.
I do like the concept of how history went when it goes to like castles, like how up to a certain point in time people stopped building castles because people invented cannons.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, we can't. This isn't going to make sense anymore.
Yeah.
But then they had the murder hallways or whatever, where people ran into the castle and it was like, just a place where people got killed.
Yeah. Super narrow.
But there's no other way to go. Hot tar getting dumped on you. Like, think of how many people died in these battles. Like they were just, everybody just died.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about like how warfare is terrible. I mean, yes, warfare is terrible at any level, but like they were just running into sharp things.
Yeah.
And if you didn't die, the best thing that could happen was die.
Yeah. And
like,
a lot of times, like, they would just put people, like, in the front, just be like, these people need to die so we can get through. The rest of us can get through, like, that line. Because there's always, like, a line there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be that guy in the front. Like,
and then they,
hey, man, you're up front. Just start running to those guys with all the spears aimed at you.
Like they're all aimed in the same direction. Yeah. Well, we're going to aim ours there, too. Don't worry. So just kind of.
And then arrows or, like, cannons just flying over your head.
Just
like,
move to the left.
God, I didn't know.
I remember there was a guy in class, like a world cultures class, some history class. He was talking about these battle techniques, and it was like this one thing where I don't know if it might have been Alexander the Great, that his big thing in the battle, or it might have been before him, was like sword shield. The big invention for this like the way that this group got so famous or got so powerful was they went stab. Like they learned how to
parry,
yeah. And it was like that was like the biggest military.
Isn't that weird to think that? Like just hit that with your shield and then
like hit the sword first and then stab. Don't try to stab right away.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna murder you.
Right.
It's more of a chance if you protect then, like it's just like what?
Yeah. Why weren't you doing this already?
Yeah. But I guess everything has to be invented.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Some guys are like, oh my god, that's amazing. And that's a perfect holy crap. Everybody's all these guys are like, oh
we're gonna win every war now.
Billy Bob over there, he's he died for nothing. We could just did this then that.
Just parried.
Instead of this and that, let's do this and that.
Yeah. I think during this time the phalanx was a big thing.
Like the bird? The one from the ashes, right?
Yeah, the one from Harry Potter.
Oh,
phalanx. Like they just basically build a wall of shields, but they'd be like like the outer wall, like,
and the birds go out and get them.
Just peck at people's eyes. Yeah. The outer like wall, that circle would be shields, and then like guys in the middle, they have their spears out. Okay. They just kind of like slowly move forward.
It sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Everything about war sounds horrible.
It'd be terrible.
Yeah. At least now our weapons are strong enough to kill you right away. So like, thank God. But like back then, they're just like, I'm going to stab you, and I'm going to be going so fast, you probably won't die, but you're going to die eventually.
You're going to bleed out.
Or everything in your, like your entire body's going to spill
Infected.
out. Yeah. Infection seems way worse. And then we're going to amputate. Maybe we're gonna chew on this thing.
And you might live after that amputation.
Chew on this piece of wood.
Bite down.
And I'm gonna cut your arm off.
By the way,
why, sir?
It's gonna take about 5 minutes for me to get your arm fully off.
Why, sir? That's probably even earlier than that. Like, whenever we got to military warfare, we had weapons like muskets, and we're like, okay, everybody, you're gonna stand here.
Yeah.
And you're gonna, when I say move, you're gonna move. Don't shoot the guy that's in charge.
Yeah.
You walk forward and you shoot.
Yeah.
And hope you don't get shot back.
Right.
And then who the hell thought that was a good idea? Yeah. Who the hell thought that was a good idea?
No, it was like a weird, like when I watched those movies set in like that time, like the Revolutionary War, like that the idea of like there's rules to them.
Like chess or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a gentleman's war.
Yeah.
I feel like
there's that one poor bastard just like banging on the drum, just like, please don't kill me. Yeah. Or the guy holding the flag, like.
You're not supposed to kill those guys.
No.
And then Braveheart comes along, Mel Gibson, and just ruins the day. Or wait, no.
That was way before.
Yeah. What's the other one? Who's the other guy in the other Mel Gibson movie?
The Patriot.
Yeah. That Mel Gibson comes along and is like, hey, you know what? Instead, we're just going to run and kill you.
We're going to run and just start shooting.
We're not going to play this little game. They're like, is it cool? They're just standing there. Like, can I just shoot them?
Yeah, can I just run up and shoot?
Wait, I can just shoot them, right? They're just standing in a line.
Yeah.
Can I shoot them?
Oh, that was weird to me. That was a thing.
Yeah. I always thought it was like a movie thing. And maybe they did this for movies, but no, it's really probably was like that.
Yeah. There's like codes and stuff, and then like you get like guerrilla warfare, and like anything kind of goes.
I've really wondered why England lost. I mean, French helped. The French helped, but like,
yeah, the French helped.
French helped.
Thanks, France.
Yeah. All right. So what do we got today? We really went off on a tangent there.
The whole thing.
Oh, back around to the French, huh?
So, yeah, Alexander the Great.
Yeah.
It's been well documented, kind of life he lived, what he did, what he conquered, in the short time, the short time he was alive, because he died at 32.
Yeah, so bad. Yeah, remember that. Yeah.
But there's a lot of mystery surrounding how he died. You think someone with the title Great, they go out kind of like a blaze of glory kind of thing, but not him.
He went out like a little baby.
I'm going to do a little background here, just quick background, because again, this has all been well documented. For those who don't know much about Alexander the Great, I'm trying to give like a quick rundown here. But much of what we do know about Alexander the Great wasn't actually written during his time. It was written much later, almost 400 years later, by Roman historians. So we're dealing with ancient Greece, then Romans come.
What was the history between those two? Wasn't there something? Were they the same people?
No.
The other Roman Empire was Greeks, right?
What do you mean another Roman Empire? Oh, sorry, yeah.
Eastern one.
Eastern one, yeah, and becoming Greek. And this is because Alexander the Great, what he did.
Okay.
But yeah, much of what we know about him is written much later, 400, like centuries later, by Roman historians who heard about his escapades, his legends.
Was the Western Romans a bunch of Italians?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Modern
day Italian, yeah.
Yeah, my dad always just messed with my aunt who was like super religious, Italian religious. She's like, Italians killed Jesus. And she's like, no, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was.
It was.
It's the Romans. He's like, yeah, they were. And I was like, Dad, stop. She's like, she's old, man. Leave her alone.
So the Roman historians like Plutarch and Arrian, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce his name. Arrian. I don't want to say Arian because I'm pretty sure that's not right. I also don't want to go down that whole road. But I think it's Orion. They claim to have acquired Alexander's personal court diaries about his adventures and about his death.
What was a spear for the? Wasn't the Nazis looking for Alexander the Great's spear or something like that?
Was that?
Or was that Jesus' spear?
Yeah. But there was.
We're on the same guy here.
But no, I remember when I was doing this, I was like, wait a second. Wasn't there something with Alexander in his tomb in Assassin's Creed Origins?
Was that what it was? I'm dumb. That's what it was.
Yeah. But they somehow linked it to Alexander the Great, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was his spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was in that game you play as a Greek person.
In Origins? No, you're Egyptian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, then the next one.
And you find
Odyssey.
You do find Alexander's tomb in that, but yeah. There's like a spear of
Destiny.
Spear of Destiny, I think it's called.
No, that's it. That's what it is. That's what Hitler was looking for.
Yes. Yeah. Apparently, yeah. So these guys are around 400 years later, after Alexander the Great was already dead, they claim to have access to his royal diaries.
Okay. He kept royal diaries, supposedly.
His court did.
Okay.
And they kind of go into detail, but again, who knows if they actually got a hold of these things. But anyways, all right. Alexander the Great was born in 356 BCE or BC, depending on what.
So long ago.
Yeah. Depending on, BC or BC, how people like to go about that.
Egypt around this time? That was before this, right?
No, this is around Egypt.
Egypt was till 900 AD? Something like that. We talked about it in that episode.
Yeah. So what happens is.
Yeah, they all get together.
The Romans kind of take over.
Right. Okay.
But the last Egyptian pharaoh.
Odyssey was part of
it. Was a Ptolemaic dynasty.
Okay, yeah.
And that started with Ptolemy, who was a friend in general of Alexander the Great.
Okay.
He was born in 356 BCE. He was a son of Olympias and Philip II, who was the ruler of Macedonia.
Oh.
Macedonia was a Greek city-state. Macedonia, sometimes called Macedon.
We have friends from Macedonia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Macedonia encompassed all of the modern-day country of northern Macedonia and parts of the modern-day countries Greece, Albania, Kosovo, Serbia, and Bulgaria. So it ended up being a pretty big area. At the time, though, Macedonia wasn't really seen as a cultural place in Greece, whereas like Athens was and Sparta was. But Philip, Alexander the Great's father, started to change that. He began conquering some of these other great Greek city-states. He also had Aristotle, the philosopher, tutor Alexander at a young age. So he brought in Aristotle from one of these other Greek city-states to come into Alexander.
What made him so cool?
Well, there's Socrates and Plato and Aristotle. Like these are like, you know.
They're the ones that made all this crap up. Like they're the ones that made up learned stuff.
Well,
I understand. Where did they get it? They were just philosophers, right?
Yeah.
So how does that educate someone?
Well, they were philosophers. They like, you know, like the West. That's like a lot of what the Western philosophy is based on. These three guys, which are Socrates.
So they're the ones that are like.
It goes all the way to people like Voltaire.
Oh, I'm gonna tear this one down. Were they the ones that were like, water only flows downhill? And you're like,
the hell does that mean?
Yeah, is that what they kind of like established? Like, what does philosophy actually mean at this time? It's just coming up. It's just a way of thinking.
Yeah, study of like what is knowledge? Who
and
are we?
How do we learn?
Why are we here?
Okay.
Like, but they also go into more in the sciences, like what the world will look like, what other people were like. It wasn't just about like they weren't just sitting around. Well, I guess they were sitting around, but
and there's big like outdoor things, right?
Yeah.
With the stones.
Yeah.
Amphitheaters.
Yes. Man. So Philip brings in Aristotle.
That's like the first YouTube star.
Kind of, yeah. Which I bring up Aristotle for two reasons. One we'll go into later, but two, this kind of helps shapes Alexander's worldviews and his understanding of the world and what he wants to do as far as when he like grows up. And like, we'll go into that a little bit here. During the marriage of his daughter Cleopatra, well, not the Cleopatra, this is kind of a common name back then. Philip was assassinated in 336 BCE.
So Cleopatra would have been Alexander the Great's sister?
Yep.
And Philip was his dad?
Yeah, Philip was his dad. Philip was assassinated in the marriage by stabbing at the hands of one of his bodyguards. Allegedly, though, it was done by a political rival in another Greek city-state called Conquests.
Okay.
But it was suggested it was orchestrated by Olympias, his wife.
Olympias was his wife?
Yeah, Philip's wife.
The Olympias? Mount Olympus?
So it's interesting on her side, she claims that her bloodline comes from Zeus.
Okay. Olympus is the mountain, actually.
But Olympus would be the female version of writing that, I guess.
Vernacular.
Yeah, vernacular. Thank you.
I pulled that out of something. I have no idea what that word even means. I'm not even sure if that's the right word.
Did you just black out? Just like,
whoa. I didn't even know if I said that correctly.
So they're saying it's possible that his wife did this because he didn't treat her very well.
She may have had him killed.
Yes.
Okay.
And he had other wives and other possible heirs. So she's like, I'm going to get rid of him. It's also been suggested it might have been Alexander himself who orchestrated the assassination because he wanted to become the new ruler.
How old was he at this time?
He would have only been. He was born in 356. His dad was assassinated in 336. 20.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, 20. You're such a turd anyway. Like,
right,
20-year-olds are the worst.
It's the thing. So
20-year-old guys.
We're just having these conversations with my dad. I was like 20 something, and this guy's king.
As you like have the butter knife your dad's throat, you're like, what? What, old man?
But anyways, the assassin was killed while fleeing, so they didn't really get to the bottom of why he was killed.
I mean, it's so easy to get away with murder back then, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
They did catch some other guys that were part of this, but nothing came of it. But Alexander, at the age of 20-ish, is now the ruler for the next 12 to 13 years. He begins to conquer and incorporate other countries.
We're talking about other than just city-states of Greece. Yep. He's
just like, I'm conquering.
Again, 20-year-olds are the worst.
But I think, again, because like Aristotle was teaching him, he's like talking about the world, the unknown world, other cultures, like these new ideas of humanity, and I guess like incorporating cultures together, and like the pushing thought, and I don't know, something along those lines. I think this is kind of ingrained in Alexander's head.
Sounds like a real Voltaire about stuff.
So he ends up conquering other Greek city-states, but then he goes into Persia, Egypt, and India. Now, while doing so, he's encouraging his men who leaves the rule over these lands to integrate their culture and religion, and at times to marry the people and mate with them.
Kind of spread it out.
Yeah, to like spread the Greek idea and thought. It ends up becoming something called Hellenistic.
You're saying he spread the Greek batter around, like
yeah,
mix it up out there.
But yeah, like incorporate our culture with other people's cultures to like better society. I guess maybe you could say that argument.
When's the 300 guys show up?
This is before. The 300 was before this. Like 100, 200 years.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah.
So this is that. So this, okay.
This is after like Xerxes. Persia's still a very big enemy of Greece, yeah. So again, these are all Greek city-states. They're kind of independent of each other, but when like a threat like Persia will come along, they form like a coalition to like band together and take out these outside forces.
What other, do you know of any other forces around this time that were pretty big? I guess this part of the world is pretty much...
It was mostly Persia that was kind of an issue for the Greeks. Unless they were like feuding with each other. A lot of times they're just feuding with each other, trying to conquer one another. But he's going into like Asia, which no one's ever really done.
Okay.
He's going into Egypt. He's going to Africa, Egypt. He starts going to Asia, into India, which is like unknown. Like they knew the land was there, but like they knew nothing about it.
Because India was probably... It wasn't anything. I mean, it was like...
It was, yeah.
It wasn't India. It was probably one of those...
Oh, yeah. It wasn't like... It wasn't called India back then.
I mean, it was like...
Bactria, I think, was the name.
Mongol. It wasn't... The Mongols was...
No.
After this.
Yeah.
Mongols? What they called?
Yeah. Mongols, yeah.
Mughals?
Mughals.
Man.
Mongols. Oh, my God.
Mughals. The Mughals were after this.
Yes.
Mughals.
Mughals?
Mughal. What's from Final Fantasy?
Mogul. What's Mongol then?
Mongolia. Yeah. Genghis Khan.
Yeah, let's cut all that out.
So, but the Mughal Empire was like, it was just a separate empires, probably like, kind of like what's going on in Greece.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. But again, like, they knew it was there, but they knew nothing about it. There's all like legends about like...
Oh, okay. Like, how would the stories even get there? It was
seen as barbaric. People were trading...
Yeah, I guess there's a lot of trade probably going on.
But not a lot until after Alexander's death, because he's conquering all these lands and like he's pushing for trade, pushing for thoughts and like sciences and cultures to be infused, and be like integrated in all these places.
What about what's going on in Russia at this time? You know, Russia like a world. It's there, right? It's probably not.
It's there, yeah.
It's not like
I honestly have no idea. Russia.
It's probably different, like you said, different tribes maybe. Yeah. Or...
I don't know if it's a united thing. I have no idea, man. I never really thought of that.
Probably too cold up there. They're probably like, nah, it's not yet. When we figure out heating, we'll be up there.
So he's kind of pushing for when he's conquering these new lands, for integration, racial integration, cultural integration, which is kind of rubbing some of his fellow Greeks the wrong way. And not only that, he's incorporating these conquered armies into his own army, which again was kind of frowned upon by some people. The Persians being a big one. But it's in India that Alexander was forced to return home. At this point, him and his men had been on this crusade of conquesting these places for like 10 years.
I mean, he's in 20s, of course. He has the energy. He's like...
But some of these guys have been with him those whole 10 years, like, we just want to go home.
Yeah.
Like, like when is this enough for you? Like, how much further we need to keep going? Like, when are you going to be satisfied? We'd have to throwing a mutiny. But he ends up killing these guys who were part of the mutiny, but he's like, all right, reluctantly, he's like, okay, let's go back home. You guys kind of do deserve to get to go back home. But
he probably has a giant army at this point.
Oh, yeah. Because he integrated, like, especially got the Persian army.
He's just gathering people as he goes. Yeah. Very smart.
And all on the way, he's just like, he's naming these new cities after himself. Alexandria, there's always Alexandrias everywhere. He's naming after his horse, Bucephalus. He's naming some of these cities.
Bless you. Bucephalus?
Bucephalus, yeah. One of the legends with Alexander the Great was his dad bought him a horse when he was a kid, and no one could tame this horse. But one day Alexander was able to tame it because he realized the horse was afraid of its own shadow. So he turned his head its head toward the sun, so he couldn't see a shadow anymore. And he was
Oh.
apparently able to mount the horse, and that became his horse. But he named cities after this horse.
Oh. What else? I mean, at the point you're like, I'm running out of, my list is already down so many.
I don't only have, there's like, ended up being like 20 Alexandrias at one point.
He's just like, I'm bored.
Yeah. So I'll throw my horse a couple.
Yeah, give him a bone. I mean, your horse back then was life and death.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like John from What We Do in the Shadows. Remember Dandor? His horse John that he ate.
John. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So he put some of you guys to death.
Go watch that show, everybody. It's an amazing
great.
show.
The last,
one more
next
season.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bummer.
Amazing.
But go on a high note. I like it. All right, so he decides to turn back home. This is when he's in India. Decides to turn back home, but he eventually does plan to keep going further into Asia. However, on the way back, they stop in Babylon, and something happens. Babylon was in Mesopotamia, which is Iran? No, Iraq. Sorry, Iraq. Modern day Iraq. Persia's modern. Iran's modern day Persia.
So Babylonia was Iraq.
Yes.
Mesopotamia.
Babylon, yeah.
Okay.
Based on the royal journal of Alexander's court, Alexander falls ill after a drinking party. This big, I think it was in honor of Hercules.
It's always Hercules.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's times where Alexander's like, okay, I am godlike because he believes he's descended from Zeus, therefore descended from Hercules. So
he's in his 20s.
Yeah.
He's a turd.
Well, he's in his 30s now. But, but it did all throughout this time. He's kind of like,
his ego's already.
But people start believing him.
Yeah.
Even the people in these other places he conquered, they start believing him. There's another legend where, like, I forget what there was a knot that apparently if you were able to untie it, it would mean that you can rule over all of Asia or something like that.
The sword and the stone, dude. You got to pull the sword out.
Kind of, yeah. But if you're going to tie it, it meant like you would rule all of Asia. But rather than tying, he's just like, I'm just going to cut it in half.
Did he do it?
Yeah. There's a legend. I don't know if that's true or not, but.
What?
Yeah.
Hey, wait, okay, so there's a knot.
Yeah.
That was so awesome. We should sell mysterious knots. In the middle will be a picture of us or something. But like, if you can untie this knot, we'll give you, I don't know.
Hold on, let me look at, let's see. Oh, the Gordian knot. This is modern day, it's Gordium, which is in modern day Turkey on the Asian side. It's a legend in which there was a knot that if untied by a person, that person was destined to rule all of Asia.
That was just a marketing thing.
Rather than tying Alexander just simply just cut it in half.
It was just someone like setting this up on the side of their house so they can charge people money to try it. What? This is stupid.
Yeah.
Alexander was probably like, dude, come on, man.
But there's these things that like they keep happening or supposedly happen, and like people start believing it.
What else are you gonna believe? It's not like they can check it on Facebook. You know, this guy's just rolling through and with a giant army. Of course, he's like a god.
Yeah. So during a drinking party, I think it was celebrating Hercules, or it's a sacrifice Hercules. He's drinking a ton, like a lot, and he falls ill afterwards. He begins to show signs of fever, like symptoms, with abdominal pain. At first, he's still able to walk around. He's still giving orders, conducting sacrifices. I kept reading like some of these accounts. I'm like, they're doing a lot of sacrifices every day, like a lot. And it only increases more.
I mean, because they're not
the sicker he gets.
But there are so many, there's only so many wars. They must have been on their way back, so they're not like just dumping people off in these wars. So they're just slicing each other up.
But like, there's one instance. It's in Tyre, Tyre, which is like
Tyre.
I think it's Tyre. It's pronounced.
Oh.
The modern day Lebanon.
Okay.
But he just conquered the Phoenicians there.
Man, the Phoenicians. It's like, he just conquered the Phoenicians. Yeah. Isn't that like a big deal?
Yeah, it's huge. And he's like, I want to make a sacrifice to, I forget what their equivalent to Hercules is there, but he's like, I want to go to this temple, make a sacrifice to him.
Phoenicians.
And they're like, yeah, go ahead. But when they get there, it's an island, like an island town right off the coast of Lebanon. And it's still there today. He gets there and they're like, you're not coming in. You're not going to sacrifice. Like, they think that he's going to come in and just like destroy everything. He's like, no, I just want to make a sacrifice. I already won.
It's instead of like giving money, like donating something, he's like, I'm going to murder someone.
Yeah, but they're also, justifiably wary of him being like, yeah, just let me in. Yeah, just let me in. I'll do a quick sacrifice and guys.
Just one quick little tip.
But they didn't. They let him in, and so he ends up building. This structure is still there today. This stone causeway to the island to get across, and people end up dying on his side, their side. He goes and he's so pissed that like these people don't let him do it. He just kills all these people. There's a lot of them slaves, but apparently his nice side, if they ran into the temple and were hiding, he let them live or whatever.
So if they turned around, like ran, ran
like,
away.
Oh yeah, these people are religious people. Like they're just seeking shelter. But like he killed like.
I'm not gonna kill everybody, just one of you. Yeah, like I'm not gonna kill everybody, just one. I just wanted to murder one.
Yeah. But the sacrificing thing was a big deal. Like he's just willing to like murder all these people because like they didn't let him do sacrifice.
Sacrifice. It's just like it's just a wheeling and dealing back in the day. Yeah. I mean, people think stuff is so bad now, but they're just like, yeah, the dude came through as a sacrificing.
Yeah. And they're doing animals, but like there are cultures that did human sacrifices. Like not a lot, but I mean, it did happen.
Crazy. Murder.
Just murder.
I mean, he killed 20,000 to kill some boar. I mean, come on. Obviously, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
To him and to these, like back then, it was just part of life. I guess if you made it to 30, that's pretty much like 90 now, right?
Yeah, I mean,
people weren't living long.
Some of them, not much long. I don't think much longer, but.
Was Aladdin running around?
But what's that?
Was Aladdin running around these streets this time? When was that guy alive?
Aladdin?
Yeah, street rat. Was that?
I don't buy that.
That's your story? King of Thieves or whatever? Prince of Thieves?
Aladdin? No, I don't think so.
Something was going around in his time.
Sinbad?
Was that him?
Was that Sinbad? With his cool pants?
Yeah, his swishy pants. Yeah. He needs to come
Telling
back.
jokes. He was great.
No, like that. So that was just fake stories, right?
What?
Sinbad, Aladdin.
I think Aladdin, yeah. But
Mr. Disney just made that one up.
I'm not sure about Sinbad. I honestly don't know, man.
40 Thieves, 40 Nights, whatever it was.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Arabian Nights.
Yeah.
How was that? Was that just a movie?
Or no, it was based on a book, like a famous one, but I don't know if that's based on fact. I don't know. Anyways, back to killing.
Yeah. Sacrifice.
So at first, he's still able to walk around. He's still talking to people, giving orders, doing sacrifices.
He's just doing the sacrifice.
But his condition eventually worsens, and he becomes immobile and speechless.
Just sacking people around.
But finally, he dies.
Okay.
All in all, it took 12 days. So when the symptoms started, to the time he died was 12 days.
It could have been the 20,000 people he killed on his way to making his bridge.
Right. So,
damn.
But while he's ill, this is why he's still alive. His generals are like, okay, this is bad. Like something's going on. Like they plead with him to name an heir. He's about to have a son with his wife, who was
one wife.
He had 3.
Yeah.
So he married.
He had a lot of time on his hands.
So here's the thing. So his first wife was not a Greek. None of his wives were Greek, because I think he's like, again, pushing the idea of like racial integrating and all that stuff. One wife was Roxana. She was having a child.
What?
But she was yet to be born yet.
Is that song's about?
I've seen it written as Roxanne and I was like, is this Roxanne? The Roxanne?
Yeah.
I forget where she was.
That Hall & Oates?
Yeah. No. Roxanne, that's
Roxana?
That sounds like Sting, right?
I'm thinking about the Roxana, but
Roxana.
The song.
I know you said that, but I know.
It's not Hall & Oates.
Roxana, I don't know. Roxana
doesn't count then. I'm gonna look that.
So they're like, hey, give us an heir, like name an heir. We know you're having a son, but he's not born yet. Like that's not going to be a legitimate heir. He had another wife, whose name's son was Hercules or Heracles, but again, too young. Some accounts claim that he took off his ring and handed it to one of his bodyguards, which people thought the signal that that guy should be the new ruler.
It's probably
there's only one of the accounts I've seen. Like a lot of the other ones are like discarded this. Apparently, the guard refused, claiming it should be his soon-to-be-born son, Alexander's soon-to-be-born son. who was born shortly after Alexander died. So it would have been Alexander the Fourth. Other accounts claim that Alexander was asked to name an heir. Alexander simply said, "To the strongest." Was this Roxana?
Rosanna. It was Toto.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
Rosanna.
Yeah.
But isn't Roxanne?
Roxanne's a police song.
Police. That's its thing. All right.
Man.
Toto.
What song am I thinking of with the other dude? All Notes. Those guys.
Hungry Eyes?
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Maneater. I don't know.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Um,
Rosanna.
Other accounts claim that Alexander was asked to name an heir. Alexander simply said, "To the strongest," which of course left all his generals like, does that mean we all just fight each other?
Everybody's like,
this is like the Olympics, or we just murder each other?
Everybody freezes like,
like that's it. He dies. All right. So now we're gonna go over some of the causes of death.
Just kind of theories of what because of caught. Okay. Because this is just to be clear, this is a 2-episoder.
I mean, yeah, I think originally I wanted to do, and we'll get to it. We'll do it be next week, but I wanted to do Alexander's tomb because that's missing.
Okay. So this is kind of like generally part 1, part 2, generally kind of two
but then I was like, oh man, like I was rereading up on Alexander because I haven't really, like I was obsessed with him for a very long time. Like if I was gonna have a kid, I was gonna name him Alexander or Alexandra. But
or Rosanna.
Roxana. But
oh, I know what it's from. Roxanne's from the Goofy movie. Max's girlfriend's Roxanne.
Oh, okay.
I watched that recently because it's a dumb movie. It's a bad Disney style. Anyway,
I remember thinking it was all right. I was just like, I think pretty.
Yeah, we're dumb idiots when we were little. We were stupid when we thought things were good. All right.
So this is my favorite, most unlikely. Apparently, he died from a broken heart.
Yeah, yeah, because he's like, I couldn't murder enough people, sacrifice enough people, or boars or whatever. Broken heart.
His best friend and general Hephaestion had died from a fever several months before. Hephaestion was the leader of something called the Companion Cavalry.
The Companion Cavalry?
Like PAL.
Oh.
The two were extremely close friends since childhood. They also compare themselves to Achilles and Patroclus, who were like famous warriors during the Iliad.
Okay. No clue.
Is that? Yeah. Like Achilles is, remember, you ever hear about Achilles?
I know Achilles is my foot or whatever.
Yeah. Achilles.
Patroclus sounds like
I think it's Patroclus or Patroclus. They were, I think, maybe cousins.
Patroclus, when you said that, sounds like
chocolate.
What's in my head was a giant chocolate monster. I feel like that's a cool name for a chocolate monster. Kind of like the Ghostbusters, like Marshmallow Man, but it's like chocolate.
Would it be big, like it's a big chocolate bar, just kind of like wobbling down?
No, he'd be like a big, like the I just envisioned the marshmallow guy, except chocolate with it dripping down and people getting chocolate on and being like, thanks.
Like a big Cadbury egg, that'd be cool.
I don't think I've ever eaten one of those.
I like them though.
Wait, what's in them?
It's just like a weird goo.
Like actual egg?
It looks supposed to look like egg.
I like that. Now I can't eat that unless it's dairy free, but even when I could, I imagine I probably didn't like it. I was always afraid, I didn't like the idea of Easter. Because
of the rollerblade incident?
Yeah. Someday I'll tell people about that. Just don't go buy rollerblades at Walmart in 1990, whatever.
It'll work.
I always had this weird thing in my brain where maybe the Easter Bunny took a dump in these eggs. Why is the Easter Bunny giving this candy?
Yeah, why? But why?
And they're in eggs.
Yeah, why eggs?
Because in my mind, in my child mind, eggs came out of a bird's butt. Yeah. But bunnies never laid eggs, did they?
No.
Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah, I don't understand how that became a thing.
Seems like people are lying to me, or
sure
some kind of weird stuff's going on where he's trying to drug me. That's what I thought. Or he's getting me. The Easter Bunny's over there behind that tree, laughing at me finding an egg and eating it, and it's eating his poop or something.
Pizzagate.
Yeah, I don't get this place.
Yeah, I wonder like how that even like became a thing. I'm sure it was some kind of weird mishmash with like some
Yeah,
old pagan.
like the Yule log and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. God, stupid holidays around here. Anyway, traditions are dumb. Anyway, continue.
So yeah,
Patroclus and
Achilles
heels.
Yeah, they were a big part of the Trojan War.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna about that. Yeah, whatever.
I mean,
but
it's
they were
cool,
like,
I know the word Trojan
Yeah.
War.
Like the Trojan horse was a part of that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
is that real? Or was that like another? Okay.
Yeah.
They actually hid in the big horse?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I think so. I don't know, man. I don't know now.
I'm questioning it. They're making you question it.
Yeah. Anyways, Achilles was famous, and apparently Achilles was part of the lineage of going back to Zeus. So, and also Alexander believes he was part of that lineage.
Yeah.
So he thinks they're kind of related. But yeah, he might have died from a broken heart.
He's gonna go out.
From his best friend dying.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll all go out the same way.
His best friend died, so he died.
We'll see someday, I guess. Someday.
It said after.
Could you imagine if that like it happened? You're like laying in death. You're like, oh my god, it happened. It was true.
It said that Alexander's mood had changed, and was stricken with grief once Ephesian died. He put on this big, elaborate, expensive funeral in order to appear in mourning throughout the whole empire.
How many people did he murder? Right? Like how many like sacrifices did he make?
Oh, I'm sure, like tons.
Yeah.
Apparently, spent like $10,000
Dollars?
of like not dollars, but like the equivalent, whatever the currency
That
was.
much money?
I mean, a lot back then, man.
What was it? 10,000 in today's money?
Back then, I don't know if that'd be equivalent
Right,
to
like
today, but
20
it was
billion,
it was
you know?
insane.
For what?
This lavish funeral for his friend.
Was he back in Greece when that happened, or was he out like in the field?
They were there. This is when they're out.
This is kind of
So he apparently he died 7 or 8 months before Alexander did.
So is this one of those things where like when he was traveling around doing this stuff, there's pretty much an entire castle like behind, like an entire town was just following him around.
Pretty much, yeah.
So when he showed up, it was like an entire new town got set up overnight.
Yeah.
And as he moved away, that town was just there. Alexandria.
So in Babylon, they're in the palace of whoever was ruling at that time. I think it was like Nebuchadnezzar II, but that doesn't sound right.
That's a cool name.
Yeah, they like it was his now. Like
Nebuchadnezzar. What's that?
Nebuchadnezzar's from the Matrix. It's like a ship but I don't think it's actually Nebuchadnezzar. It's like Nebu something.
No, I was thinking about it like Nebuchadnezzar. He's from the Bible? Stories in the Bible have him in it?
Yeah, maybe it's not Nebuchadnezzar.
Think.
Anyways, they're in Babylon, which, yeah, possibly a biblical thing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're on, I mean, what year is this? 300?
This is 350. No, sorry, 3.
Yeah, this would have been Jesus came
BC.
around like how many 100 years after this?
Yeah.
So it was probably like a New Testament type of thing.
Yeah. I mean, there was a Babylon, right, in the Old Testament?
Yeah. I went to Catholic school. 8 years.
There's also suggestions that he might have been poisoned or assassinated.
Okay.
One likely thing, but for anyone he conquered, like
Yeah.
you know, any one of these
The
empires,
20
he just
countries
took
he
over.
rolled through, yeah.
They might have just wanted him to die and let this Macedonian occupation, these lands, to end.
I mean, he did, like you said, he just built a bridge to an island that he wanted to go to.
Yeah.
'Cause they wouldn't let him there.
But I know there's like a duality with him because like he is known to have a temper like that. Like he's just like, I'm gonna just kill everyone here, and my own guys will suffer because of it. And but also like he wanted to like culturally and racially integrate people, like share ideas, and I don't know. It's a very weird thing, the duality of him. Or the poisoning or assassination could have happened from a friend or general seeking power for themselves.
Okay.
Maybe.
What reasoning would they have at this point if he's gone this far?
Right.
They're already heading home, right?
Yeah.
At this point.
Yes.
But it's not like he wanted to take over so he can turn them around.
But he did say that he wanted to keep going eventually.
Right.
Go back and further in Asia and keep expanding the empire. So maybe a friend or one of these generals is like, I can do this.
Or I want this all to stop and just...
Right. So, or it could be, out of a fellow Greek or one of these people who are just like, this needs to stop.
We need to go home.
Because we need to go home. Some of them didn't like his thoughts on incorporating these cultures, not only in the army, but like in Greek life. It was well known that like a lot of these guys weren't a fan of that. They thought a lot of these people in these other countries were barbaric. They didn't really know anything about these other cultures. There's that possibility. I brought up Aristotle earlier for two reasons. One, because he was Alexander's tutor for a long time, but two, because he might have been the perpetrator.
Aristotle?
Of Alexander's death.
Was he on the ride for this whole thing?
No.
Oh, he was back in Greece.
But his nephew, Aristotle's nephew, was with Alexander because he's supposed to document and do like a historiography.
Oh, okay. But why would he want him dead then? He's going to sound like he's going to ruin his book.
Aristotle's nephew's name was,
nice.
Callisthenes?
I thought you were like, oh, Crappus? Calisthenics?
No. He was with Alexander on his campaign into Asia to record events. This is Aristotle's.
These are one of the books they found?
No, apparently this book was like lost.
Of course.
But there's these accounts given by the other generals, particularly Ptolemy, who's one of them, giving their first-hand knowledge. I mean, it's in air quotes, but again, you can't really take that as a truth because a lot of these guys, once Alexander died, had their own personal agendas.
Right. To try to take power and stuff?
Yeah.
Or save their own butts?
Right.
Yeah.
What ended up happening was Aristotle's nephew was with them this whole most of the journey in Asia. At one point, Alexander began claiming that he was divine and ordering Greeks to prostrate themselves in front of him, like bow.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, what? You got to do what to the what?
What? You want me to do what?
Like, that's going to hurt.
Yeah. So, like, the bowing in front of, like, as if there's a divine thing was not something the Greeks did. Persians did that.
Okay.
Again, this is something that the Greeks are like, we don't do that. We're Greek. Persians do that stuff. And also, you might not actually be divine. Callisthenes, this is the nephew. He was critical of this and verbal about it. And this in turn offended Alexander.
How did he know? How did they know if they lost his book?
Again, this is going off of what generals
were saying.
Yeah.
I mean, there'd be a lot of people around him, so there's probably pretty good records.
In turn, Alexander thought Callisthenes was part of a conspiracy and had him executed because there was oftentimes conspiracies against Alexander that were kind of snuffed out and he killed people. But he thought Callisthenes was part of this other conspiracy and he's like, okay, you talked out against me. You must be against me.
Kill him.
I'm going to kill you. So in turn, this upset Aristotle, this man's uncle.
Aristotle's back in Greece, though.
Yeah.
How long ago would that taken? I mean,
a long time.
Yeah,
so we got back.
Okay.
Eventually. So this upset him, causing him to orchestrate the poisoning of Alexander. If it wasn't an intentional poisoning, a toxicologist by the name of Dr. Leo Shep believes it could have been a plant.
Oh, a plant. I mean, plants make poison.
Yes.
He's saying like a plant that was inadvertently.
There's a particular plant that was put in there, maybe inadvertently. Dr. Shep's decade-long toxicology research, authored by a Dr. Pat Wheatley, dismisses certain poisoning theories for Alexander's death, saying that arsenic, strychnine, or hemlock would have acted too quickly because, again, he died
12 days.
Within 12 days. Like,
so
that would have been like much quicker.
Okay, so they're saying there's a slow-acting poison, possibly.
Okay. Yep. Their study suggests that the most plausible culprit is Veratrum album, white hellebore.
What would that have been located along his travels?
Yep.
Okay.
A plant known to Greeks for inducing vomiting. The white fire plant, when fermented into a poisonous wine, could have caused Alexander's prolonged and agonizing death over 12 days. In contrast to the other poisons that were suggested that would act more swiftly.
So someone had to have given this to him?
Yep.
Maybe.
Right.
And he would have ingested it, which caused
And then like, so remember like the beginning, a lot of these historians are like, oh, he fell ill after drinking.
Yeah.
So this could have been put in his wine.
The crazy thing about this is the act of poisoning is so nefarious, but also so easy to do in some cases, especially back then. Or like, I mean, nowadays we have toxicology and stuff. Like we can, but like back then, it could have been just like a 9-year-old going in and be like,
Whoops.
I'm going to make this pretty for him. And then like he drinks it and dies.
Right.
And it could have been something so harmless.
So a lot of these older historians that were writing about this, 400 years later, they're like, if it was Aristotle, that could have been why, because his nephew was killed by Alexander's, command, and some of these other generals might have been kind of getting annoyed or with Alexander not wanting to keep going further into the east, wanting to go home. So like, we got to put an end to this. So they all kind of conspired together to kill Alexander.
On their way home, though.
Yeah, but the idea of them to go back out.
Right. Maybe he turns around. It takes 10 years to get that far. It takes 5 years to get back.
Yeah.
And then is he conquering along the way back? Did he like do like a straight line, or did he go like down and then up and around and come back?
I think he just did like what he'd already conquered previously. Because they already had like...
He's coming through. He's like, hey, everybody, come back.
Yeah, because he already had like these places set up that he left some of his people out to like rule over. So like...
Okay. Yeah, and he had like probably supply lines set up and he had connections. Yeah, it makes sense. So logistically.
So that particular poison or plant would have been a prolonged illness, caused a prolonged illness, rather than like arsenic or like hemlock. But it also explained his eventual inability to speak or walk. At first he was able to. Remember, he's still like conducting sacrifices, and he's still like giving orders to like his troops and like future plans. But then eventually he just couldn't walk at all. They had to like carry him around. He wasn't able to speak.
He was hammered drunk.
Yeah. Another possible theory is that he had got abdominal infection from drinking too much.
Again, poor guy, poor fella.
Yeah. Since the accounts of his death say he fell after drinking, so like I just drank too much.
He got poisoned. Like that's just I mean, how can you drink too much?
Alcohol poisoning.
I mean, okay.
Yeah.
So alcohol, but does it take that long?
No, that's the thing. The other one was that
I guess you can drown from drinking too much water. That's pretty well documented. Like there's people who've done that like on radio shows and stuff. Was that lady that like drank 2 gallons of water to win a Wii?
What?
Yeah, like for Christmas, she's like, they're like, if you drink 5 gallons of water in like 30 seconds, we'll give you a Wii, and she did, and she died because she drowned.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that show got like really got sued and stuff.
When did that happen?
I mean, when a Wii was out, yeah,
but like
10 years ago. I mean, there's plenty of examples of that.
How long did it take? Oh, man.
It was like it was like a minute, drink 2 gallons of water in a minute or some insane, like
she died?
Too much water.
How long
Yeah,
did it take her to die?
I think pretty quickly, like not like instantly, but like overnight, maybe. Keep looking up old Alex there.
There are other reports that the wine was unmixed. Usually back then, with alcohol or water, they would mix one with the other. You couldn't actually drink water back then.
Oh yeah,
because like you get sick.
Gross.
So they just cut it with alcohol, like wine. But a lot of times they have to cut wine with water because the wine would be too strong. But maybe he drank wine that was too strong, drank too much of it, and just became ill.
Okay.
And died.
That's crazy. I mean, like, again, water, like even our water technology is a billion years ahead of what we used to be in the world.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
I mean, in our location, like I know there's places in the world that it's not.
Right.
Even in America, there's places that it's not great right
now.
Yeah. Because of issues, but like that's insane. Like kids were just hammered drunk all the time.
Yeah, because the kids
you had to be.
Stuff cut with alcohol too.
All right, here it is. I found it. Jennifer Strange, 2007 Sacramento radio station KDND sponsored a water drinking contest that killed 29-year-old mother of 3. Jury found the station liable in her death, but I guess nothing really came of it. Maybe
if they made like sign a waiver or something.
No, I don't.
Like how? That's terrible. I bet that mom was just doing it because she's like, so you get something nice for her kids.
She'd been drinking water for nearly 3 hours without urinating.
God.
He was told the personalities that her head hurt. The DJs laughed about her condition, even saying her distended abdomen made her look pregnant.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Screw those guys.
Oh, the family was awarded $16 million.
Oh, at least you get something out of it.
Yeah, I'd rather have my mom.
Well, of course, yeah, right.
Okay, so a kidney.
Probably didn't even have the money to buy her kids a Wii. Just like, I will do this.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I can to get my kids a Wii. And then...
So drinking too much water disrupts the body's salt balance, causing cells and ultimately the brain to swell. Anyway, sorry. But yeah, so you could do that. He was found dead 6 hours later after the contest.
Jeez.
So yes, you kids, you can die from drinking too much water.
But yeah.
There's a lady that recently died from too much water drinking. I read an article. She was like at the beach and she was just pounding waters and it killed her. Same type of thing. Because she kept on drinking, thinking that she was dehydrated.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it's great. You can't even drink water. Stuff. Actually. Yeah. You can't even drink stuff correctly.
Just drink Prime.
Just drink one water and then see if you need more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't drink Prime. It's really bad for you. But, hey, you do what you want. If you're an adult, do whatever the hell you want. I don't care. Maybe just don't feed your kids Prime. Yeah. Or do. What the hell do I care? It's not my kids. Yeah. What do you want? Why you get on my case about it, lady? People, come on.
Oh, this is America.
Yeah. Drink whatever the hell you want.
One of the most common things that gets thrown out there is that he died from malaria or typhoid fever.
Brush your teeth, kids. Go ahead. Typhoid fever.
Or malaria.
Okay.
Both would explain the fever Alexander had, but both include the symptom of diarrhea, which he did not have.
That we know of. He's the great. Well, he's not going to be spreading that around.
Apparently, all this stuff was very well documented what was going on with him in these royal diaries of diarrhea.
Yeah, cool.
A newer theory thrown out there might have been the West Nile virus.
Yeah.
So Plutarch himself, this is one of the Roman historians, mentions that a bad omen occurred when Alexander returned to Babylon. This is when they're coming back, like getting ready to go back home. They stopped in Babylon, which is where he died. He says a flock of ravens were behaving radically and then died at the feet of Alexander.
Flock of ravens?
Flock of ravens.
Is that like what does that mean? Like from a omen wise?
That the bad
death is coming.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm saying if it's like
I don't know exactly, but yeah, like it's bad. Something bad's gonna happen.
Like you're gonna fall out of the sky. Like it.
So there's two doctors who saw this or read this. Like maybe that could be West Nile.
Oh, because on the birds.
Yes.
Okay.
In an article on the National Library of Medicine done by John S. Marr and Charles H. Alisher, they posit that due to the death of birds and Alexander's symptoms, Alexander died from West Nile virus encephalitis.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, right?
Yeah,
we all know that.
Yeah.
This is the inflammation of the brain causing fevers, headaches, and loss of consciousness.
Okay.
Due to the time of year, which when he died, it was in June.
The encephalitis?
Encephalitis.
I don't know.
That's, thank you.
I remember to hear that somehow. That might not be right.
That's exactly it. Encephalitis.
Got one.
You're on a roll, dude.
Got one. I'm like, oh, hello? Hello?
Where am I?
Where am I? Who is this? Encephalita? What was the other word? Vernacular.
Vernacular, yeah.
Man.
You said like these blackouts.
Yeah. My lips are on it today.
So the time of year they died was June. And in the area he was in, he could have caught the West Nile virus possibly from the ravens.
Man. Suck. Now that's like the ultimate kill. They're like, send the ravens.
Yeah.
And they like make them dive bomb them.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't they do that with...
Spread death.
Didn't they do that with bodies with the plague?
Oh, yeah.
Shoot them into forts?
Yeah. Launch cows over too.
Yeah.
The last one I got, and this is kind of a newer thing thrown out there, I think, and I kept having to ask Kelly, my partner, how to pronounce this. I don't know how she knows it. Well, I know how she knows to pronounce it. But anyways, Guillain-Barré syndrome? You've heard of Guillain-Barré syndrome? So a Dr. Catherine Hall, she's a senior lecturer at the University of Otago, I think, which is in New Zealand. She challenges existing theories suggesting that Guillain-Barré syndrome, or GBS, which is an autoimmune disorder, could explain Alexander's symptoms. is like the fever, lost his consciousness.
Gary and Barr?
Guillain Barre.
Oh. Like, shh. Gary and Barr. I don't know. I was thinking like, what's that one, the kissing disease? Epstein-Barr.
Epstein-Barr? What?
Not that guy. Roseanne Barr's husband, Epstein-Barr. No, what's that called whenever you get the kissing disease back in school?
Herpes?
No. Mononucleosis. Mono? Yeah.
Oh,
isn't that Epstein-Barr?
I don't know, man. It's called the kissing disease?
Yeah, you get
like
it
that's
kissing.
Nicknamed?
Yeah, when I was in second grade, like, you got to stay home for like a month. You got mono. I'm like, shut up. It's a kissing disease. What?
I don't know.
I gotta look that up.
This is not it, though.
No, this isn't the kissing disease. Okay.
Hall argues that an infection of Campylobacter pylori may have triggered this disorder, causing paralysis without affecting consciousness. She also questions the time of Alexander's death, posing that his increasing paralysis and reduced oxygen needs may have led to premature declaration of death in ancient times.
Okay.
Back then, they would just be like, they didn't check for pulses or heartbeats. They just checked by
breath.
Breath.
Like put a mirror under the
which is something like, so I guess Guillain Barre, like, your body requires less oxygen. That's you're like not putting out as much breath, or like out your nose or mouth or something like that. So like they might have declared him dead sooner than he actually was.
But he still died.
He still died, yeah. They're like, oh, he's dead. He might still have been alive.
Kick him over. Epstein-Barr is a herpes virus. So, wasn't the right one.
I said herpes.
Yeah. Mononucleosis. Mononucleosis is often called mono or the kissing disease, an infection with the Epstein-Barr virus.
Oh.
Transmitted by saliva. Yeah, I guess, it's just fatigue. You get tired. Elderly people don't really get symptoms of it, though. All right. Well.
Aren't they rampant, like in, isn't that stuff rampant in, like, retirement homes?
I think you're thinking of just herpes.
Right.
Well, last time I was there, you know what I mean? Wink, wink. I don't know.
Retirement home.
It just smells like lotion in that place. I don't know what's going on.
Lotion and death.
Yeah.
That's it, man.
So we got Alexander the Great being taken down by kissing disease, is what you're trying to say.
A mono.
Yeah, like it seems, it obviously has to be something, it has to be one of those two things. It has to be like a disease, random disease, kind of like what happened with King Alaric.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wasn't from that area, maybe a certain time of year, certain bugs are out. Maybe he got, bit by a spider or something, like that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or it was poison. And it seems like he made enough enemies, it's probably poison.
I mean, it's definitely possible.
What poison was, what it was.
I mean, like even accidental poisoning. Like.
So what do you actually think it happened?
Oh, boy. I really like, because I never like the West Nile thing and the Guillain Barre GBS. I never really like heard of before. Like in regards to his death, like I always heard it was like malaria or typhoid fever. The poisoning thing I remember hearing about or reading about. The Aristotle thing is new to me. That'd be interesting, but I think it's mostly discredited as him being a culprit of that.
Seems like an easy. He's probably killing so many people's family members that it seems like Aristotle is just a big name. Yeah. It's easy to point lines. Like, of course, it's going to be something grand like that, not something as simple as like Alexander the Great could have been taken down by a bug or by a disease. Yeah. Poison. But
he also was left like, so it was Darius III was the ruler of Persia, and him and Alexander had like multiple battles. Alexander eventually won. Darius wasn't killed in battle; he kept running away. But eventually, when he died, Alexander went to visit his grave, and Darius's mother ended up becoming friends with and living with Alexander, and traveled with him this whole time. And he actually called her mother. When he died, she starved herself to death and died.
What?
Yeah. So he did horrible things, but some people were actually generally loved him and I
mean, I guess you have to though, right? He probably
required
it. Like, what would you do? oh, that guy's not that good. He's not that great.
Yeah.
Alexander the normal, am I right, everybody? Like, dude, shut up, he's right there. Yeah.
He keeps saying he's like, you know,
Alexander the
Zeus' son or something like that.
Yeah.
And we'll go into like what immediately happens after he dies, like with his family and his empire and all that stuff in a future episode. But yeah, we'll leave that stuff for next time. But as far as him dying, how he died, it's got to be, I feel like it's some kind of disease.
You don't think it was poison? Poison seems like too simple.
Yeah, right.
But also it seemed pretty easy.
Yeah.
Like, especially if you're from that area, you know how these poisons work.
Right.
Like, if you're from that area and you have a reason, maybe he came through, there was some person that worked in the kitchen at this castle, and like someone who was just a worker, a normal person, is like, he killed my parents, my father, like his war destroyed my family, my kids. Of course someone's going to be like, going to try to put one in.
Yeah.
Like, if you could slip something as simple as, if you can get close enough to him and slip something, I mean, everybody said that about Hitler as well. Like, why wouldn't you just slip something in a drink? You know, that type of thing. But
and they did try to kill him a few times.
Yeah, but I mean,
Operation Valkyrie was one of them. That was like blowing up.
That's the one.
Like
Wait, is that the
meeting?
Is that the one with the Inglorious whatever?
No, they actually made a movie called Valkyrie.
Oh.
Tom Cruise. But it was based on a real thing, and they tried to like kill him, blow him up during a meeting.
Yeah, seems like
done by Germans, like yeah. But yeah, I think like it is interesting to think it was poisoning, but again, like as people were saying, it couldn't be a quick acting poison like arsenic or hemlock. It would be something slow, obviously, because he died. It took him 12 days to die.
Or was he just hammered for 12 days and on the 11 days, and on the 12th day someone just slipped him something and killed him? You know,
or like, hey, you need because so it says this veratrum album with white hellebore was a plant known to Greeks for inducing vomiting. So maybe they were just like, you're drinking too much, man.
Like alcohol poisoning idea.
Yeah, you like, you need to vomit this up. Eat this plant. Maybe that caused him to keep vomiting until he died.
Alex, get in here, dog. Come on, roll him over. Like, get him to the hospital. Just drop him off. Run. Just drop him off. Kick him out of the car. Leave him here. Like, it seems crazy. Like, he probably had the best doctors in the world at the time for some cases.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
like,
he's also like trying new things too, because he's like, again, he's incorporating these cultures. So they might be trying some new stuff out, medicine wise. Something could have happened with that.
Well, we got no answers.
I think that's par for the course.
Yes, yeah. Alexander the Great is an amazing, like, it's an amazing category, or not category, but it's an amazing topic to talk about because of it was so long ago, but there still seems to be a lot of information about him.
Yeah,
and like all the things he's done at a young age, which makes me feel bad. But there is like still mystery about someone that's so well documented with so many people around him.
Right.
Like
yeah,
entire cities basically following him around,
yeah.
entire countries bending to his whim. Like one person being that powerful. Again, it just takes someone that's sounds, you know, it just takes one of those, like, what's that called? When you talk good. You know, what's that called?
Vernacular.
The vernacular of the Epstein-Barr syndrome.
So far, you got that one word, man.
Syphilitis or
encephalitis.
Encephalitis. Yeah, it seems like there's so many. This guy did so much stuff.
Yeah.
And something is.
We didn't really touch on a lot of it, but like it's well documented. I didn't want to get bogged down on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's books. There's tons of books written on him. Like it's amazing what he did, and then nothing.
Yeah,
like he
like
disappears.
12 to 13 years. Yeah, before he's like
that's the way to go.
Months shy of his 33. Yeah,
you know, that's the way you do things nowadays.
He died at 32? Wasn't there like a bunch of famous people died at 32? Didn't like Kurt Cobain die at 32, and like Jim Morrison?
I have no idea.
Chris Farley, I think.
Chris Farley, I could say. I'm like, yeah, that guy. I mean, it seems like when you reach that level of, I mean, for us, I mean, today's society, you reach such a level of, it's kind of hard to keep going up.
Yeah.
And when you know, mental health is a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
Mental issues go untreated in throughout society. And not saying Alexander the Great probably had some kind of complex about him, but
Illusions of grandeur.
Right. Like,
but also, I don't know. Like he
did a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Murdered a lot of things. Do you think if he would have kept going, what do you think would have happened if he would have kept going? If he never died? What I'm saying, like, didn't die at this point.
Forever.
Like, do you think he would have been, if he was around for another 10 years?
Man. Because I'll say this, based on what he did do during his time, the world would not have looked the same. Because what he ended up doing was by pushing the Greek culture so far east, you end up getting the Roman Empire, which ended up, along with that, you get the Byzantium, which was the first part of the Roman Empire, but that's all Greek.
Yeah.
And you're getting all these like new trade routes and ideas and like the flow of information between these places, like it had never been done before. Like you had the biggest empire in the antiquity. Like,
will we all be part Greek right now?
If he kept going,
or we run into Genghis Khan, he would have been like, "Hey, man, when was Genghis Khan around?"
Oh, much later.
Okay.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah. It's hard to say what would have happened, man. It would have been interesting to see what the ramifications of that would have been.
Yeah. I mean,
good or bad.
Did he? I guess we'll talk about this next week. But like, was his group, his like leadership still, or was it like totally just fractured after this, or were they still going
after he died?
Yeah.
You mean it started going as expanding?
Like, yeah, were they as gung ho about expansion, or were they just like, let's get home and get over with this crap?
I think when he died, a lot of the people that were already set up that he had, not his generals, but people that he left in places he conquered, he's like pushing that agenda of like, hey, let's incorporate everything, both our cultures, integrate them. A lot of them just like, no, we're not doing that. We're Greek, we're superior.
Okay. So everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah. Yes.
Generally.
But there is one place that thrived because
harmony.
Yeah.
Harmonious.
Maybe. Yeah, I would say
gatherings.
Harmony, but yeah.
Okay. Well, so here. Well, wait till next week.
Yeah.
So Jordan, thank you for bringing this story to our attention. Yep. We will continue this story next week in. Is it really part 2? Or is it just like
it's
story number 2 of Alexander the Great, volume 2? Okay. Well, wish we could have helped out with the answer to the story, but like always, we cannot. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and listening. However you're getting this, please give us a follow on Instagram, Facebook at Mysterious Pals, on YouTube at Mysterious Pals. Send us an email at mysteriousPalsonline@gmail.com. Check us out on mysteriouspals.com if you would like the links to anything. Any podcast feed, go ahead, give us a follow. We would really love it. YouTube, give us a follow. Give us a whatever you do there. Thumbs up.
Smash
that like button. Just smash your screen and leave. Don't talk to me. Just don't listen anymore. And just reach out if you have any ideas for episodes or want to talk, or we can do anything we want. I don't know why. Next week we'll be back with the second volume of Alexander the Great, and another amazing story the week after that from
led by Chris,
your big old me right here.
Chuchi.
Yep. Jordan, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Chris. If I die, you have to die.
Yeah. Don't go Roxana on me. We're going to go listen to Toto and think about our future. Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you next time. So please, stay mysterious, and we love you.
Bye.